I was working on the third Streets of Rogue video, but I accidentally deleted the footage I was using. Sorry. Shame too, since it was my first successful run as a slum dweller. But maybe that's a sign to work on something else for a little bit. So, Stoneshard. It's been in development since 2017, and yes, that's a long time, but as someone who took several months to make 2 videos that were less than 45 minutes combined, criticism from me would feel like hypocrisy. Plus, I don't live in Russia or Ukraine. Several staff at Inkstain's Games do. Anyway, let's begin with the tutorial.
Damn it. Where am I?
You are awake. Just in time for the ritual. Don't try anything funny or you'll end up like one of your friends.
Curses. Doesn't look like we won that fight.
Well, no shit, old man.
Looks like my shackles are rusted to the core.
So, whoever KO'd Verren and his colleagues used rusted shackles and didn't search them for items. Maybe this isn't the same person, but still. Who is Verren if he got brought down by someone this inept? Anyway, after searching the cells for anything useful, we...
How did you get out? You are dead!
Oh, hey, asshole. Turns out, he can't stand up to an old man with a piece of metal. Maybe this guy was just inept, or the captors rely on strength in numbers. Hard to say for now. Anyway, proceeding into the hall, we come across...
Burn. Bled to death. Such a foolish way to go.
Apparently, he didn't use his eyes. And I suppose now he's not gonna need this sash. Oh, speaking of injuries...
Damn. I forgot about my leg. Hurts more and more.
It's a good thing we stumble into a supply room. After a tutorial on wound treatment and resting, we pick up a few weapons and proceed. I give the bow a try, thinking it'll help soften up the enemy. Turns out, Verren is not an archer. What he is now, however, is level 2. Leveling up gives us stat and skill points. Stats determine basic attributes, like health, energy, and how much melee damage we do. Skills can either give passive, conditional buffs, like being able to better wield certain types of weapons, or they can be active moves, like big, sweeping attacks. In this case, after we pick up a pyromantic treatise,
just like the good old times in the academy,
the tutorial tells us to learn Fire Barrage. 3 bolts of fire that deal more damage to those already on fire. The magic word is Sanar. As you learn skills in one school of magic, other skills in the same school grow stronger, while others become weaker, encouraging players to stick with just 1 or 2 skills for the greatest mix of damage output and versatility. Sadly, this doesn't prevent Verren from doing some kind of Evil Dead 2 messing up of incantations. This mechanic, backfiring, deters repeated spell use, as the chance increases with consecutive cast spells and results in more expensive, self-damaging spells. While I'm checking the character sheet, let's look at Verren's bio. He's a famous relic hunter who's strong despite his age, on one last job for an alchemist named Gwynel to collect Stoneshards, mysterious artifacts this game is named for and presumably what got us into this mess to begin with. He's from the nation of Aldor, a kingdom separated into multiple estates that entered into a civil war not long ago. But a truce means peace, at least for the time being. We've also got some more reading material. More of it down a hole in the ceiling too. To summarize, the monastery's harvest was going okay, and then an infectious disease fucked things up. A monk tried to get help from Manshire, only for the healer and then the town to get infected too. I don't think the writer survived, and I guess after that the vampire cults moved in, or maybe the disease was vampire related. On a less depressing note, there's other skill books and scrolls down here, including a geomantic treatise, which lets us practice geomancy. As for the scrolls, those will be familiar to players of old roguelikes. Identification scrolls let us determine the status of an item, disenchantment scrolls remove all enchantments, including curses, and enchantment scrolls let us apply a new enchantment to a piece of gear for a single random bonus. The game's had a loose grip in our hands so far. We could have died earlier on if we'd messed up in combat or failed to spot Verren's killer. But as we go up the stairs, it lets go entirely, reminding us that we're not special and that we need to use our heads to survive. Anyway, I move forward and... that lady has her tits out. And she can scream quite loudly. Thankfully, a handful of magic and clever use of a trap makes the fight much easier. And that's what this level and much of Stoneshard and Broad Strokes is. Combat against foes of often equal or greater strength, using our unique skills, our gear, and our brains to seize any advantage possible. Taking breaks to restore hit points, treat injuries, and search for valuable items to use or sell on. Most of the weapons the enemies drop are in terrible shape, worse than the hatchet and shield we picked up, so we leave them alone. I'll skip over most of this since this is technically the tutorial, but suffice to say, we encounter a various number of vampire cultists in various states of dress and kill them, eventually coming across a dead merc. After we take his supplies, we find a note. A contract. 1,000 crowns for anyone who cleans out this place and returns with proof in 20 days. I'm not sure what day it is, but maybe this'll get us something. And eventually, we reach the top floor and I, in my unlimited wisdom, take some drugs. And then I take some more. Oops.
Verren! You are alive! Run while you can! No! Don't leave us here! Please! Make it stop! You could serve us well. Put down your weapons, and perhaps we'll spare your life.
Not this time, abomination.
Well then, we show you mercy, and yet you reject our gifts. Let the ritual begin! Kaya North, no!
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. I'm kind of on a lot of drugs right now. Suffice to say, things go poorly. The fact that I was using a damaged flail didn't help matters. While I haven't played too many roguelikes, especially not the older ones, this does match up with my limited knowledge. Experimentation can be helpful, but sometimes it's also fatal. But don't worry, while this timeline may be doomed to vampire cultists sending Aldor into torpor, I'll rewind onto a timeline where Verren didn't trip balls and die horribly. I promise.